Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Kat here, and today I will be planning my month of May in my bullet journal. I'm really excited to show you the theme that I did for this month and all the inspirations that made this theme possible, since it's something outside of my comfort zone and has a lot of layers to it. So let's just get started, and I hope you enjoyed the video and the setup that I did. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and I hope you enjoy the theme that I did for the month of May. So the theme that I chose for May is koi fish swimming in a pond, and this whole idea for this theme was inspired by a sticker by 𝒓𝒔𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒆𝒓. Jen created this amazing koi fish computer file sticker that she sells on her shop on Etsy, and I just fell in love with it immediately, so I asked her if I could use it as the main inspiration for my theme. 𝒓𝒔𝒂𝒕 is Jen's Etsy shop, and I'm going to leave her links down below so you can check her out. She was really sweet for letting me use her sticker as the main inspiration for this theme, and I'm really happy that I took something that inspires me to create something of my own that can hopefully inspire you. I started by drawing a lot of koi fishes in my bullet journal, and basically I tried to draw them as simple as I could because I was going to have to draw them throughout the entire setup and throughout the rest of the month. I did their body as a long water drop shape, and for the fins I did them in an oval shape, and the tail I tried to give it a flowy effect. I saw a tutorial on Pinterest on how to draw koi fish, so I will leave my Pinterest board inspiration for May in the description box as well. I added some orange spots using two different orange shades of Crayola Super Tips all over the fishes, and then some lines on the fins and tail to add more definition to them. It's really all about the small details here. They really make a difference in the whole scheme of the page. Then, since the sticker from 𝒓𝒔𝒂𝒕 had these windows with ponds, I wanted to incorporate that as well on my pages. So I did two boxes on the cover page, and I painted them with a light blue marker in a circular motion, so you really couldn't see the streaks of the marker on the paper. I also used a Sakura white pen to do the foam of the water, and I went over that with my white Posca marker to make the white pop a bit more and to actually make it look like foam. The final detail for the water was to add shadows to the foam with a light gray tumble, and that as well made all the difference in these illustrations. On the sticker, Jen also added a color palette at the bottom with all the colors that she used, so I added that as well on my pages. I did it in a more rainbow style, but I loved how it turned out, and it adds a lot of extra color to the spread, which I really like. The last few details to complete the page were adding light gray shadows to everything and adding bubbles all over the page. The shadows made a huge difference on the entire page. It makes everything pop a lot more, and the marker that I used was the Tombow Dual Brush pen in the shade N75, which is a very light gray color. For the bubbles, I just took my Tombow Fudanowski pen and I started drawing bubbles near the fish and all over the page. I didn't have a plan for the bubbles or where I was going to draw them, so I just went with the flow and I just added them to the page until I was satisfied. The spread next to the cover page is going to be a simple quote page. Lately, I have been doing mood boards, but I wanted to emphasize the inspiration for this theme and do an actual pond with the koi fish and some water lilies. So I followed the same process of doing the line art first, then color in all the illustrations, and then draw the water. And as soon as I started painting the entire page blue with the Crayola marker, I was a bit scared that this marker would not last for the entire theme, but it did so far. I still have the weekly spreads to do now, but I think it's going to last. The quote I chose for this month is, "Be enough for yourself, the rest of the world can wait." And I divided the quote into 2 computer windows to match with the sticker. I added all the shadows on the foam, the fishes, and the boxes, and my mood board was all complete. This took a while to do, but it was worth it, and it turned out so good in the end. So this is something that I want to try in future themes, where I just paint the whole page and I do the illustrations, and it turns out really good. I'm really excited to try this in the future. Next, I'm doing a month at a glance and a habit tracker spread. I normally like to separate each thing on its own page, so do a calendar in a page and then a habit tracker on the other, but I just don't want to do that anymore. I feel like it's too structured for me, and so I created this page where I'm going to have all of the important things for the month in these 2 spreads. I'm also going to have a lot of doodles to fit within the month's theme, so I just decided to try this style and see if I like it or not. So on the left side of the left page, I'm creating a month at a glance section where I have all the 31 days of the month vertically, and it's where I'm going to write down all the important events and appointments of the month. I use Google Calendar to keep track of my work days, appointments, and to pretty much know how I spend my days, but I find that is really useful to have a calendar like this, at least in your bujo, so I decided to bring it back for May and see if it helps me in any way. Next to that, I have my task section for the month, and that is the month at a glance space for this spread. Then on the right page, I will have my tracker space. So if you watched my April bullet journal setup, you know that I did a spread to keep track of my workouts because I was following a workout challenge, and I'm still following the workout challenge with my best friend from 𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒆𝒓. And well, that page didn't work out at all, so I decided to try another layout and do it completely different and do it more focused on the workout days instead of the workouts that I'm doing. So I made a big calendar for the month of May, and below that I will have the color code with what I'm going to track, workout related. So orange is for my workout days. I'm going to mark on the calendar the days that I work out with orange. Light blue for an active rest day, dark blue for the extra rest days, and green for the days where I drink a good amount of water. I decided to add a color for the extra rest days that I will take because of the night shifts that I will do in May for my job, because I can't work out between the days that I work the night shifts. Thankfully, in April I didn't have any night shifts, so I didn't add this to my tracker, but just to be safe, I want to add a color for that. On my trackers page, I also added 2 mini calendars for 2 extra trackers, which are my vitamins tracker and my study tracker. I am officially going to start studying hard in June, but I want to prepare myself mentally for that, so I'm going to start practicing and reading the books in May as a mental preparation of what I'm going to do for the next upcoming year. And in case you want to know what I'm going to be studying for the following year, I'm going to take my CCNP and core exam and the CCNP and RC exam in July 2022, if everything goes according to plan. For these pages, I played a lot with the colors because I wanted to avoid the black for things other than the lines and the titles, and I loved the colorful result. I finished everything with the shadows and the bubbles, and I was quite happy that these pages didn't turn out too cluttered for my liking. The next page is my expense tracker, and I did the layout that I've been enjoying lately in my bullet journal. Even though I duplicate my expenses to a digital Excel sheet at the end of every month, I like to write everything down by hand so I can be more mindful of my expenses. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the lines for each section with a fine liner or a Crayola super tip, but I think the bulkiness of the Crayola marker suits the theme better in the end. I also decided to play a little bit with the colors for the different sections of the pages, and instead of using black or the same shade, I used orange and sometimes blue and sometimes green, and I think it turns out really well together with the theme. And I've seen Natalie from 𝒊𝒏𝒔𝒄 do this a lot, especially in her April theme, but I just never did it because I thought it was too colorful for my liking, but I actually liked how it turned out in this theme. So again, this is another thing to try in future themes, and I think that I just need to be more adventurous when it comes to the colors that I use in my bullet journal. Next to my expense tracker, I colored in the entire page again to make a pond to match with the quote page from before, and here I will have my monthly favorites spread. So I drew the little computer windows inspired by Jen's stickers once again, and I labeled each one so I can fill them in throughout the month. So I have a box for music, movies, creators, and animes, and I will post a complete spread on my Instagram at the end of the month. Another thing that I'm trying this month is to not label every single spread that I do, so I didn't have a title for the expense tracker, I didn't have a title for the habit tracker, and I think that gives a lot of freedom to the page. And I know what the page is, so I don't really need a title, and in my past setups I used to do that a lot. Every single page had a title, but I think that this theme, because of all the illustrations, I didn't want titles to take up space, so I just decided to ditch them, and I'm really happy with the results. So this theme as a whole has been like opening so many doors for my creativity. I'm really happy about how I ended up going with this theme, and I can't wait to try other different things in the future. If you have any recommendations of music, creators, or movies for me, please leave them in the comments section down below. The last spread for this setup is my weekly spread, and for this layout I tried to follow the same structure of the weekly spread that I recreated on the Recreate Me Cat challenge video that I did a while ago. Messy and not structured weekly spreads are terrifying to me because I never know how to fit everything there, play with the doodles, and still make the page look nice and somewhat organized, so I'm still following the layout that I did before until I feel comfortable enough to try to do one on my own. On my weekly spread, I included a mini calendar at the top, a round box on the type write page where I will write the song for the week, and an event section to keep track of the events and workdays for this week. I still had quite enough space for the days of the week, since that is what is the most important thing on the weekly spread, and so I decided to add green circles for the days of the week, and I completed everything with the shadows and bubbles once again. And I think they tie everything together nicely. Now, since there is no koi fish emoji or a water lily emoji, you can leave a water drop emoji in the comments below if you watched the video until this point. I am so happy that I went out of my comfort zone to do this theme. I'm definitely going to repeat the experience in future themes, so please leave theme ideas for June in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!